Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. The fight that feels stuck. Ricardo Torres Jr. and Frank Sanchez. What's the deal with these two guys? Now make sure you subscribe, you follow me across all platforms. I'm on all of them. Just look up Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Become a member to the YouTube channel and leave a donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Now listen, man. It just seems like neither man is rushing to fight the other. This matchup has been hovering in the background because it's high risk with limited upside, especially for one side. And that side is none other than the Cuban Flash, Frank Sanchez. Now, before I kind of delve into Frank Sanchez and who and what the issue is, let me just show you this right here. Some people don't know who he is, but we're going to get you up to speed right now. 5 wins, 18 KOs, one knockout loss. 72% KO ratio, a 6'4", 6'5", 78-inch reach. He's a big dude, man. Long arms, and he can fight. Super fast hands. But the thing is, he's someone who should have gone on and done something great in the sport of boxing. And for him to have been fighting going on 10 years, it just make you wonder, man, about how his career's been handled, because he really should have been a champion. But anyway, you come down and you take a look here, right? He fought Junior Fa, got the TKO. Then he fought Ajit Cabello. A fight I thought Frank Sanchez was going to blow him out, and Ajit Cabello, look right here, knocked him out, man. 7th round. Something horrible. Just the body shots broke him down. But Frank Sanchez didn't look like he wanted to be in the ring. That's the first time I ever seen him look like that. Then there were rumors circulating that he had some kind of, issue or illness, some kind of problem leading up to the fight. But at the end of the day, what we've learned is he probably didn't have no goddamn common cold, because he could have ate some of that Cuban chicken soup and resolved that. Well, the problem he had was a German by the name of Ajit Cabello putting the bing bings on him. Now, that was in 2024 in May, and then he came back just shy of a year later. Fought a guy named Ramon Echeverria, TKO'd him 3 of 6 rounds. That was just a stay busy fight. Now they have him fighting Ricardo Torres Jr. This is Ricardo Torres Jr. I know. Look a little bit Sesame Street, doesn't he? Got the ill mustache, got the Napoleon Dynamite hair, but this motherfucker also has Napoleon Dynamite fist. 14 wins, 12 of those wins by KO, 85% KO ratio. Problem is, he's about 6'2", 76-inch reach. He's not that big, but he has an awkward style. Can be very explosive. He's an Olympian, silver medalist, turned pro in 2022, so he hasn't been fighting that long. But these two guys are about to scrap. What is this crap popping up here? Get out of here. But he and Frank Sanchez are trying to work out a fight, and this would put him in a position for a title shot, depending on who wins. Now, you look at his he fought in 2025. He fought twice. He fought Guido Vianello. Barely escaped that fight, in my opinion. Was able to get a unanimous decision over 10 rounds. But Guido just fought the wrong fight, and even he claimed he had some issues. But Guido Vianello can scrap. But Torres was able to get him. Then he fought Thomas Select and was able to get him out of there in 1 round, TKO in the first round. But the real issue here, when you look at their records, you see these are two talented guys. All right? So it's like, well, what's the issue? Well, I'm going to tell you, for Frank Sanchez, his position, right? Former top contender, seen as a spoiler heavyweight, technically skilled but not a big draw, needs the right fight to get back into title contention. He does not want to fight a guy like Richard Torres, who doesn't bring much to the table. And then all of a sudden, Frank Sanchez falls off the face of the map. Now, for Ricardo Torres Jr.'s position, Of course he wants the Frank Sanchez fight. Frank Sanchez, man, has been operating at the top of the sport for quite some time. Right there, man. Everyone knows that he's an A-level fighter. That just hasn't been in A-level type fights against elite opposition for whatever reason. So Torres wants that fight. But the reality is, and this is what people need to hold their horses and not take it to the stupid. Ricardo Torres is still being developed. He is of Olympic pedigree, so he can fight. I think he's a marketable American heavyweight, not because he's Mexican American, because when they put a camera in front of him, he's likable. He smiles, he talks, he's articulate, he's not ignorant. He's someone where he's talking and you listen to him. And his career trajectory is upward. It's not sideways. They're not looking for a bunch of lateral accomplishments. No, they're looking to move up the ladder and they don't want to reverse. If he beats Frank Sanchez, this is a huge leap in the right direction and definitely up that ladder of success. Will he go on to dominate boxing? To that I say, in the most respectful way, to hold your horses and not take it to the stupid. He could probably make a little noise, but I don't think he goes that far. Probably pick up a title depending timing, circumstances, the opponent, the title. But he's not going to go out here and do nothing spectacular. They got too many these colossal titans running around at heavyweight, man. I just don't think Torres, with his quirky style, can actually do the business. But the translation is this, man. Sanchez risks losing relevance if he loses. Torres risks losing momentum if he fights Sanchez too early. But there will be an out for Torres saying, just like what I said, fought him too early, should have waited. For Sanchez, they're going to say, hey, too old, too soon. This is classic career management boxing, not fear. And that's why it's taking so long for you two to come to some kind of agreement. Now, some people say it's boxing politics. And I will agree, this fight is politically awkward. Sanchez is too good to be a tune-up, not popular enough to justify the risk. Torres is still learning at the pro level, being positioned carefully. Promoters usually avoid young prospects versus polished veterans, especially when the vet doesn't bring belts or money. It's all bad for Torres getting in there and getting clipped by the Cuban Flash. The bottom line is the fight makes sense competitively, but not strategically. Fun fight for the diehard boxing fans, for sure. Now, technical breakdown, Frank Sanchez, boxing IQ, off the charts. Extremely high ring IQ. Cuban school fundamentals. If you know anything about boxing, you know those Cubans. They are technically polished and will whip your butt. Excellent spacing and positioning, rarely wastes punches. Then Ricardo Torres, solid IQ. Still developing though. Sometimes relies on aggression, overcalculation. Will look for the mashup, crash-up, but that won't work against Frank Sanchez. Because Ricardo Torres can be baited into exchanges, and that's when he will get the Cuban bing-bings. Matter of fact, it'd be a Cuban missile crisis popping off in the ring. So you got to give the edge to Sanchez. Then when you start talking about speed, right? So you give him the edge for the boxing IQ, but when you talk about speed, Sanchez, super fast hands for a heavyweight, smooth footwork, sharp counters. Torres, explosive burst, fast when attacking, slower resetting defensively, has heavy feet. The edge, again, Sanchez, cleaner, more consistent. He's just faster and just overall a better fighter. Now, when you talk about the power, Sanchez, respectable power, not a one-punch destroyer, breaks opponents down. With Torres, he has heavy hands. You got to give him that. Natural thump, his power shows up late in the fight. So if you want to give somebody the edge when it comes to power, maybe you throw Torres a bone. But it's not like he's out here showing that his power is just, that much greater than Sanchez. But if there is a category that you can give to Torres, maybe it's the power. Now, defense and durability. Sanchez, tight guard, good head movement, doesn't absorb unnecessary punishment, and will utilize the entire ring. All the real estate in that ring, Sanchez and them Cuban feet will be dancing salsa all around to avoid the onslaught from his opponent, set traps, bing bing him, and go on to either get a late stoppage or a decision. Now with Torres, yeah, he's willing to take shots to land shots, and this is what I think is going to be detrimental to him in this fight if these two can actually finalize the deal. Can't be into taking shots from no goddamn Frank Sanchez. He will tranquilize you. Now with Torres, chin hasn't been fully tested at the elite level, but it's going to get tested in this fight. Defense is serviceable but porous. Got to give the edge on defensive durability to Sanchez. Now as far as stamina, look man, efficient energy use from Sanchez, comfortable in long fights, pace management is excellent. But the problem is Torres is going to push the pace. Strong gas tank, aggressive style. It's going to drain some of Sanchez's energy, but he hasn't been pushed deep consistently. But if you want to give someone an edge with stamina, you may have to go with Sanchez on that. But that's a close one, but I give it to Sanchez. And then the overall mentality, let me tell you something. This is a tough one. Sanchez is calm, patient, sometimes criticized for being too safe. Torres is aggressive, confident, emotional fighter at times. The key mental clash here, Sanchez wants control, Torres wants chaos. So in my opinion, this is a style versus temperament fight. Nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. Now with the experience, there's nothing to discuss here. Frank Sanchez has the experience. Been in there with the better opposition, been in high-level fights, knows what elite pressure feels like. Torres, still wet behind the ears, very limited pro experience. He's basically an OJT, on-the-job training, and still adjusting to the heavyweight pros. So again, you got to give Sanchez the win. You know what I'm saying? So if you ask me how the fight plays out, it's pretty damn simple. Sanchez wins, right? That's what should happen here. But it's boxing, and we all know. The best fighter doesn't win. It's the fighter who performs the best on that night. But for Sanchez, he controls the distance well, counters Torres coming in, wins rounds with clean boxing, possibly late TKO, clear decision. That's what I really think happens. But if there's an upset, because upsets do happen, it'll be because Torres forced the exchanges, breaks Sanchez down physically, lands big shots mid to late fight, and stops Sanchez or wins an ugly decision. But that is highly unlikely, but anything's possible. So a prediction, Frank Sanchez by unanimous decision, I got him like 9-3. Or late TKO if Torres gets reckless. Just don't see Torres being able to win this fight. His power will keep him dangerous, but this is a hard fight to learn on. You know what I'm saying? Frank Sanchez is no joke. You just got to look at the experience, ring IQ, defense, and discipline. To me, it's pretty damn simple to understand what we're seeing here. But the fight matters long term, and I want to make sure that I underscore this. If Sanchez wins, he re-enters contender status. Still struggling with marketability because he's kind of mundane. If Torres wins, he fast tracks into elite conversations. He'll go into probably a decent money fight, but there's risk of damage to confidence if he loses badly. This is why this fight keeps getting delayed, because they know they can't afford for Torres to lose to Frank Sanchez in a fight that they know will set him back probably 2 years. So my final take, look, this isn't about fear. It's about timing. Sanchez is the kind of fighter prospects fight too late or too early. Torres is very talented, again, Olympic silver medalist. But Sanchez is the wrong teacher at the wrong time. Very, very simple in my opinion. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans.